All right, good afternoon. Today we're going to fly the CAT-3 rating in PilotEdge. We're on the ramp here at San Luis Obispo, which is a nice little airport, sort of south central, or I guess we'd say south central California. And the CAT-3 rating is one of the communication airspace training ratings on PilotEdge. Well worth the time to go through these if you're either a new pilot or maybe a private pilot that's going through your flight training, or if you are a simulator pilot that wants to learn more about how procedures and radio work happen in the real world. PilotEdge is a fantastic service for that. It provides real-world air traffic control or real-world quality air traffic control services for flight simulation, both for commercial and for hobbyists and the military. So today we're going to give it a little bit of a go for its money with the CAT-3 rating. I've got the briefing page here. There's a briefing page for each of the 11 CAT ratings on the PilotEdge website. Each one gives you a basic description of what you're trying to complete and gives you a sense of how to start the process, gives you a basic sequence that you'll follow depending on the flight. This is pattern work, which I'll describe in a second. It gives you a transcript. It gives you a video that you can watch. I've completed these and passed them in the past a long time ago, but I just thought it'd be fun to go through them again in the simulator and kind of, since I haven't been flying for a long time, get me back in some of my own proficiency. So that's one of the things that we're doing today. Another thing that we're doing today is we're going to be showing off a new yoke that I installed into the simulator. I'll show that here in just a second. And this won't take very long, and then we'll probably come across and start up a second CAT rating, maybe do the CAT-4 before the end of the day, and then maybe a night flight tonight. I've got some free time today and wanted to spend some of it in the simulator. So if we just want to do a quick airspace check on ForeFlight, San Luis is a class Delta. That means it's towered airfield. We'll be talking to ground and then tower. Basically tell ground that we want to do what's called closed traffic, which is to stay in the traffic pattern, and then we'll taxi out. They'll give us runway and a taxi route. We'll taxi out. We'll switch over to tower. We'll tell them that we're ready to go, or remind them that we're doing closed traffic. And then they will tell us to either stay, they will expect us to stay in the pattern. And usually they tell you to check in at midfield when you're about halfway down the downwind leg. I'll show that in a second. And then they will clear you for some form of pattern work. Sometimes they'll say clear touch and go. Sometimes they'll clear for the option. That means you can either do a touch and go, you can do a full stop. You can do a low pass. You basically have options. You can do a stop on the runway and continue going. That would be a stop and go. And it's dealer's choice. You basically do what you want to do. Usually they give you cleared for the option if they don't have a lot of traffic in the vicinity of the airport. And to complete the rating, you're supposed to do 3 laps and then come back and taxi off the runway and get back to your ramp. And that's how you pass. We'll do 3 laps, and a chance for me to just practice some of my pattern work as we do this, because it's been a while since I've flown in the pattern real world or not. Standard traffic pattern, this is from the FAA, Airplane Flying Handbook, describes this, how the patterns work. Basically, patterns are a big rectangle. They've got legs to them. When you take off, you're on the departure leg, and then if you are staying in the pattern, you fly crosswind. You fly downwind, which is with the wind. You fly base, and then you fly final. If we're at an untowered airport, we would declare where we are in each of those. In this one, what they'll do is they'll just expect us, and they'll be watching us in the tower. Again, they'll probably expect us to check in midfield on the downwind leg. Standard traffic pattern is left-hand turns, but some airports, they're right-hand turns. And that's designated on the chart. It'll say RT for right traffic. And then standard altitude is 1,000 feet is pattern altitude. Again, specific airports on their charts may say otherwise. If we look at ForeFlight and we click on SBP and we get some of its information, usually they'll have, if it's a different traffic pattern, they'll tell you that that's the case. And pattern altitudes, there we go, 1700 MSL. It's at I'm not quite sure whether they have all there twice, but one of those is probably helicopters maybe, 1200, 1700, doesn't exactly say, but elevation is 212 feet. So we'll be doing 1,200 standard 1,000 foot traffic pattern for San Luis Obispo. So that's the brief. We will switch back over to our front view here. And we're in the yellow banana today. I thought, let's go with the yellow livery. What the heck? And in an SR22, this is the TorqueSim SR22, which is a great airplane in the X-plane world. Very realistic, and in particular for pattern work, it flies on the numbers, meaning its performance numbers for RPM, and the rest are very close to the real world, which is good if you're practicing in the pattern, because in the pattern you become comfortable and used to specific power settings that you then try to fly every single time. New yoke, so you can see it here. I had a Thrustmaster there over before. I've wanted to have a dual side stick layout for this sim since I built it as a Cirrus setup rather than a Cessna setup. These things are not cheap. Mine are from Noble Flight Simulations. They're very good. They're very high quality. I contacted Noble and said, do you have any left-hand sticks? And they said, or right-hand sticks? And they said, no. They said, we could build you one though. And I thought, well, that's not going to be cheap. So I've just kept my eye open, and one came up on eBay, and I was able to get it for a price that I could afford. And then I actually took the stick off and swapped it so that it is right hand rather than left hand. And I'll put up a blog post and probably a video that shows how I do that. So now we've got dual side sticks, which I think looks great and is something I've wanted for a long time, because when you do have someone in the right seat, or when I'm in the right seat, using the Thrustmaster was really inconvenient and didn't feel right, didn't look right, just wasn't right, bumped into your knees. So anyway, so this is what we've got. So we've already connected to PilotEdge. We're ready to go. We'll go through our startup checklist here and be ready to go. Magneto's off. External power, connect fine. Brakes are hold. Batteries 1 and 2 masters on. Bus voltages, check the strobes. Strobes are working. Take a second for these voltages to come up. See here on the MFD screen what we get.
Monty Towers, Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha, midfield on the downwind.
It's interesting, it thinks our radios are on when our radios are on.
Runway 19er, clear to land.
19er, clear to land, Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha.
Gas voltages look correct, circuit breakers all punched, straps and the nav lights are on. Not at night, we're not going to be doing that. Mixture full rich, power lever full forward, fuel pump boost. Prime for 15 seconds. Then to boost. Check our prop area, make sure it's clear. Power level 1/4 inch. We'd yell clear prop. There we go. All right. Check our oil pressure. It's looking good. We are at the tabs for our fuel. Oil pressure looks good. That's right here. Make sure it looks lean. Alternators 1 and 2 are on, avionics on. Ammeter's looking good. Alright. I wonder why my buckkicker is working. I might have unplugged it. Oh well, sorry about the camera bump. Okay. Just checking the audio levels here in the sim. They look reasonably good. You can hear me okay. If you have trouble hearing me over the engine, just let me know. Back to our front view. Before taxi, lights is required. We'll keep our strobe on. Flaps up, they are. Ammeter still looks good. Everything's initialized on our MFD. I don't like the topo on. Get a decent zoom here for our pattern work. Get our ATIS clearance first. Okay, so we need to get the weather. So we can look here and see what our AWAS frequency is. For SBP, we'll go to radio number 2, and AWOS is 120.5. And listen to COM 2. One 2060. My mistake.
Altimeter 3.
There we go.
Altimeter 3005.
3005.
Arriving and departing runway 29er. Visual approaches in use.
29ers
Read
on runway.
backhaul runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Oscar.
Okay, we've got Oscar.
San Luis County
Listen
Regional
forward.
Airport. ATIS information, Oscar. 1856 Zulu. Wind 310 at 4. Visibility 10. Smoke. Sky
Smoke.
condition, clear. Temperature 23. Dew point 14. Altimeter 3005. Arriving in
Okay, I like to have ground on COM 2 and tower on
To the
COM
route
1.
via Alpha.
So ground is 121.
Alpha.
121600. And then we'll switch back over to tower. Tower frequency is 124. There's actually a slick way to enter this. You can just, oops, well, there was a slick way to enter it. You can come in and like select tower, or I'll show you on the MFD. So I went into select mode, and if I select on the tower frequency and hit enter, it automatically loads it in. And then we just swap it. So that's a quick way to get to your frequencies. So we've got 12400, which is the tower frequency on COM 1. We've got 12160, which is the ground frequency on COM 2. We'll switch the mic over to COM 2 and get ready to tell them that we want to go. Finish our before taxi checklist. Cabin heat defrost, I think I'll turn on a little air. These air vents are working great now. I put a post up on YouTube and showed how they work, how I put them together. Nice and cool in here now. Fuel selector switch tanks. This is always a bit of a little bit of a crapshoot because I can't tell with this selector which selector is really the one that I'm on. So sometimes when I switch, it doesn't have right position, left position, or right position. It's move right or move left. And in the Cirrus, fuel off is on the far side. So if you keep turning it left or keep turning it right, eventually you turn off the fuel flow. So we might stall out here. We'll see what happens. Nope, still going. Okay, good. So we're on the left tank. Okay, so we will switch over. We'll call on, nope. We did run out of gas. All right, so we'll go right, and then back to left. That then should give us fuel flow. I believe I've got it. Hold on. Yeah, we've got positive fuel flow on the MFD. Right, so hot starts are more difficult in this airplane. There we go. Usually you can get the hot start if you pull the mixture back.
Money ground Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha. I was supposed to go to the ramp, but can I stay here in transient parking for a little
Interesting
bit?
how realistic it is with that too, with the hot start.
152 Whiskey Alpha.
There are certain times when I've been in Florida, sunshine, with no air conditioner, in a sunny August day, trying to get a Cirrus to hot start. It starts to get a little frantic, actually, because like it's hot, and that babe doesn't want to go. All right, so we are talking to, Mike is on COM 2, we're talking to ground, 121.6. So we'll now call him and we'll tell him that we're at GA parking and that we want to do closed traffic. San Luis ground, Cirrus 15 Juliet Golf is a JA parking. We'd like taxi for closed traffic.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, St. Louis ground, runway 29er, taxi via Alpha.
29er Alpha, 15 Juliet Golf, thanks.
November 15 Juliet Golf is going to be for the CAT-3.
Unofficially, but not officially, so you don't need graded.
Roger.
Nice of him to ask. Okay, ready for taxi. Parking brake off, feet on the brakes. I've started to look at rudder pedals, which is a dangerous and expensive proposition. A couple things I also like to do before I go. I like to bug my runway heading, especially if I'm doing pattern work. So if I put the PFD on, you can see that I can bug my runway here, bug my heading. It's the rotating cyan marker. And I will mark it to 290 because that's going to be our runway heading. That helps us visualize our taxi. It also helps us visualize our pattern. And it's really easy to fly a nice square pattern because you just put the heading bug, at the bottom when you're downwind, and you put it on the sides when you're crosswind or on the base, and it makes it easier to visualize that pattern. So we've got our heading bug. We'll now switch over to COM 1 because we're talking to tower next. We'll monitor COM 2 just in case he needs to talk to us. SI is set, PFD added, backup's ready to go. Turn coordinator is looking good. We'll see it swing when we taxi. And then there's a run-up area out there. We'll do our takeoff brief when we get out to it. Okay, so 29er by Alpha, pretty straightforward. We're just going to drive up here, make a left-hand turn, follow the taxiway. So, here we go. Key is to not taxi too fast. Like 1,000 RPM is a happy place for the Cirrus when taxiing. Other things, I got a dedicated USB port for the here we are, Alpha, nobody coming. Got a dedicated USB port for the camera. I got a HDMI cable from the 21st century for the front monitor, which is actually well made for the sort of high
Monty Ground Cessna 152 Whiskey
high bandwidth volume we're doing here.
Transient parking 19er.
So I'm curious to see how that stuff works. I've also
been
been using the frame replication software to
Flying over
take
to
30 frames up to 60 frames on the front monitor, and it's so much smoother.
Cessna 152 Whiskey
It's
Alpha.
really,
Number 150 Whiskey
I
Alpha,
notice the
runway
streaming
19er,
software
taxi
still
Alpha.
has some streaming-induced stutters. It just
19er
will,
taxi via
sometimes
Alpha.
the frames
Cessna
don't match
152
up,
Whiskey
but
Alpha.
Number 150 Whiskey Alpha, correction, runway 19er, taxi via Alpha,
a really
Bravo.
smooth experience here in the sim.
19er taxi via Alpha Bravo. Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha.
You can hear an occasional alert from the PFD. There's an Alt-2 alert. When your RPM get a little too low, it gives you a low reading on the second alternator, but the alternator is fine. We'll come down here and we'll do a proper run-up. See some people are watching. Thanks for watching. We're also testing a different camera angle today. And we had, if you had watched some of the former streams, there was sort of a debate between we go ultra wide or wide. This is ultra wide right now. But I moved the camera more forward. It's actually kind of right where my eye position is now. So it gives you a little bit better view of what's going on in the cockpit. I'll look at it afterwards and see how I think it looks. Okay, so we've got a little run-up area down here that we'll go into. And then we'll switch over to ground, or to tower, and tell them that we're ready to go. And we'll remind them that we're closed traffic, just in case those two folks in the real world tower are not talking to each other. So you can see there's a line here, a dashed line. That means that this is a run-up area for us. Okay. Back to our checklist. We can actually do this for a checklist. turn on the MFD for you.
Money ground, Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha.
Alright, so doors are
VFR
locked, cab's
request.
handle is unpinned and is ready, seatbelts are strapped in, ready to go, air conditioner set as desired, fuel quality, we are at cabs, we got full gas. Fuel selector, we're on the fuel exposed tank, fuel pump is switched to boost, confirm that, make sure it is full rich, lap set 50% and check. And we've got a yellow light, middle position on the flaps indicator, transponder set, we'll go
Whiskey Alpha.
transponder, altimeter mode, and VFR.
2111, and just
Autopilot,
you call for
we're not going to use it.
just let us know.
Nav radio set for
following.
takeoff. We are ready to switch over to tower here in a second on COM 1.
Affirmative, frequency 135.4,
1.24.00. Let's just confirm that frequency, make sure we're going to talk to the right guy.
That's the 2 Whiskey Alpha, read back correct.
Yep. We're ready there. Cabin heat defrost as required. Brakes, we're holding power level 1700 RPM. Bring it up.
Santa Maria Tower, Sierra 929 Charlie Delta, it is 10 miles to the south at 5,000, descending.
Okay, alternator, we're going to make sure the alternator is looking good. We're going to load it up. Pitot heat on, nav lights on.
Number 929er, Charlie Delta,
on.
Santa Maria Tower.
Annunciator lights check. They're all unpunched. We don't have anything like that. We've got
30, report a 3-mile final.
good load on the battery.
Straight in for runway 30, report 3-mile final.
Voltage looks good.
Pitot
Pitot
heat,
heat, we'll turn that back off. We're not going to need it today. We'll leave the landing light on. We can turn off and the nav lights. We'll just go with all of them in the pattern. The more lights, the better.
Cessna 152
Nav lights are set. Landing lights
holding
required.
short,
Magnetos,
19
we're gonna check for a
straight out
drop.
departure.
First we'll go right. We're looking for a drop in our RPM here on the PFD. On the MFD.
Number 152 Whiskey Alpha, Miami Tower. Straight at departure approved. Runway
Went down about 130. Normally we'd be looking for about 75. There, that's about 75, give or take. There we go. They're both within 150 RPM, and there's not too much of a differential between them. We're fine there. Engine parameters, engines look green all the way across the board. Power lever back down to 1,000. Our run-up is complete. Flight intermissions. Are looking good. Set our altimeter. Our altimeter is 3005. That's set. Flight controls are free and correct. Trim set for takeoff. Trim back a little bit. Autopilot disconnected. Okay, we're good. Go to the next check desk. Okay, we're going to taxi back down here and we're going to talk to tower. Okay, we are on COM 1. COM 1 is our tower frequency. We're holding short 29er. We'll tell them we're ready to go. San Luis Tower, Sirius 15 Julie Golf, holding short 29er for closed traffic.
Number 152 Juliet Golf, St. Louis Tower, make left closed traffic, report midfield downwind each pass, runway 29er, clear for takeoff.
Left closed traffic, report midfield, cleared for takeoff, 29er, 15 Julie Golf. Okay, let's take a look. Anybody upwind, not coming. Anybody downrange, we're clear. 1-1, control tracks clear and clear. Flaps 50, we're ready to go. Fixture full rich. And once I'm in the pattern, I'll take a look at the chat, guys. AT volume is a little louder.
Santa Maria Tower,
Okay, I'll turn it down.
29er Charlie Delta, 3-mile final for runway 30.
Turn that down.
Number
Right
929er, Charlie Delta, runway 30, clear to land.
Let me know if that's a little better for you guys.
Charlie Delta.
In terms of the volume of the air traffic control. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, we're on the center line. Full power. Okay, react checklist. RPM is as expected. Engine instruments are in the green. Airspeed is live. We're on the center line. We're at 50% takeoff speed before 50% of the runway. VX, rotate.
Santa Maria ground. Thanks for golf. Runway 30, taxi.
We should have bugged our heading, or our altitude. Our altitude would be, I really had it trimmed up. Wow. Trim, 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 trim. There we go. Our heading's 1200, so we'll set that on the, our altitude's 1200, we'll set that on the bug. Flaps coming up.
Number 152 Whiskey on tech SoCal departure, we'll see ya.
Over to SoCal Departure, Cessna 152 Whiskey Alpha.
Okay, we'll turn our crosswind leg. We're about 500 feet up. Nice standard rate turns. About 7% pitch. Here we come to 1,200 feet. So we can throttle way back, like 30%. Pattern speed in the SR20 is 100 knots. So usually I was flying in the pattern at like 20% power, give or take.
That's Maria Tower, Aerostar 74 Sierra Juliet.
Still coming around, 1,200 feet, speed's coming down.
Airspire 74 Sierra Juliet, Santa Maria Tower, runway 30, line up and wait.
30 line up and wait, Aerostar 74 Sierra Juliet.
Okay, we're on our reciprocal heading. Now I have a chance to get my trim set. There we go. Okay.
Cirrus 929er Charlie Delta, text the ramp via Alpha monitor ground. Alpha monitor
I
ground.
seem to remember 35% is about what I would fly.
Sierra Juliet on course departure approved, runway 30, clear.
Let me know how this sounds better. Sounds perfect. Okay, good. Okay, we can't forget to report midfield, so I'm looking out the left-hand window. And we're good. We're about 90 knots. We'll tell them now. San Luis Tower 15 Julie Golf, midfield 29er.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, runway 29er, clear for the option.
Clear for the option 29er, 15 Julie Golf. Okay, we'll wait till we're at our touchdown point, which is about right now. Gotta be careful not to fly runway 25, which I started to look at. So my heading's a little off. That's okay. Now we'll take it down to like 13% power. Okay, we go flaps 50. Start to fly downhill. Pitching for about 90 knots. Looking back over my shoulder. We'll go touch and go this time. Okay, about 7 seconds. Now I start to turn downwind leg. We want a nice stable descent. About 500 feet per minute down, which is right where we are. Keeping our speed right about 90 knots, which is about where we are. Okay, we're on base leg now. Roll out, take a look. Okay. Might be a little low. 500 is about where we would want to be, so I'll apply a little power, arrest our descent. I flew a little long on the downwind leg. Keep that standard rate turn. There's our runway. Yeah, we're a little low, so we'll just apply a little power. Fly back to the glide slope.
Number 734 Sierra Juliet, frequency change approved, see ya.
Reach through, 74 Sierra Juliet. We'll
Rolling on to final. Headwind right down the pipe. Now we're on our glide slope, so we'll start to take a little power out. She's nice and stable. Now we just fly that descent. We're right at 87 knots, which is fine. Got a little rudder. Again, nice and stable. Airplane's flying itself. We're going right at, if we fly that glide slope all the way down, we'll put it right on those white hash marks. I want to land a little short of that. Oops, we just sunk a lot. Not sure what that was about. I didn't cut the power. All right, who knows? That happens. That happens. Nice and stable. 83 knots, right where we want to be. We didn't only go full flaps. That's okay. We'll keep it flaps 50, just like if we were flying IFR. Take the power out. Look to the end of the runway. A little float. A lot of float. Okay. Flaps 50. On the go.
Rocket Tower says
VX.
152 Whiskey Alpha over IKEA.
We'll do it again.
1900.
We had that little downdraft right at the last second.
26
That
left.
changed our game a little bit.
X-ray. Full stop.
I'm not going to retrim it because I like the trim where it was set, so I'm just going to fly the airplane.
For 152 Whiskey Alpha, Bracket Tower, enter left downwind, runway 26 left.
We're about 700 feet. We'll start our turn.
Left downwind for 26 left and report midfield at the 152.
Again, nice standard rate turn.
Number 152 Whiskey Alpha, thanks
I'm,
for
I'm fighting the trim wheel.
Affirmative with X-ray says the 152 Whiskey Alpha.
Even out just a little bit. There's 1200. Take it back to about 50% power. Come back down to 1200. Little trim. Make my life a little bit easier. There we go. Go back to 1200 feet, about 100 knots. There we go. Go about 35% power is where we were, and now we're on our reciprocal heading. We're looking at the runway. Trimming the airplane. There we go. Quick glance at the chat. Thank you guys. Glad it's looking good and sounding good. San Luis Tower, 15 Juliet Golf, midfield 29er.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, runway 29er, clear for the option.
Clear for the option 29er, 15 Juliet Golf. Okay. We are abeam our touchdown point. So I never put the flaps up. That was a mistake on my part. So we're already at flaps 50. So now we'll just cut the power down to about, what was it, about 13%. Let her start flying downhill. Looking over my shoulder. We'll pitch her to be a little slower. There we go. Okay, we'll turn base. Nice standard rate turn. It's been a while since I've done pattern work in any kind of airplane, simulated or otherwise.
John Wayne clearance delivery, Skyhawk 5275 Whiskey, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Take a look.
Number 5275 Whiskey, John
Good,
Wayne.
500, right where we want to be.
To the John Wayne Airport via undefender.
Start our turn.
Fly heading 210. Radar vector Seal Beach, then direct. Maintain 2000. Expect
Get her trimmed.
3010 minutes
There we
after
go.
departure.
I'm liking that.
Departure frequency.
She's flying herself.
1.1. Squawk
We're a little low in the pattern
1,
again.
2, and hold the read back.
I need to fly a little bit of a tighter pattern. Flying a little bit too,
Runway 26 left, clear to land, no need to report.
long on the downwind leg. There we go. There we go. Right, white, red. Now we'll go to about, where were we? About 13% power.
John Wayne Airport, departure heading 210, radar vectors to the Seal Beach POR, then direct. Altitude 2000.
There we go.
Expect 3010 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 4.
About 13% power.
12.
Number 5275 Whiskey, read back, correct?
I think 13's a little low. I think 18 to 20 is closer to the right power setting. All right, coming in over the threshold. I'm just gonna fly her straight down to the runway. %20 power is a happy place. There's our float. Leave our flaps where they are. We'll be on the go. VX, rotate. She likes to climb. There we go. Get her trimmed. There we go. It's interesting how the smoke looks. All right, 700 feet, start our turn. Standard rate. Let me take this view off for you. There you guys go. Better view now. All right, coming to 1,200 feet. We'll cut the power back to 50. There we go, 1,200. Straighten her out. Now get onto the downwind leg. Standard rate turn again. Go down to about 35% power.
Attention all aircraft. San Luis County Regional Information. All current altimeter 3005.
305, that's our current altimeter. Okay, we're coming on the downwind leg. This time we'll tell them we're going to go full stop. And a little fast. Pitch up. San Luis Tower with 15 Juliet Golf midfield, we'll go full stop this time.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, runway 29er, clear to land.
Clear to land 29er, 15 Juliet Golf. A little further, closer to this terrain this time around, you can see. Okay, we're looking good. We're at 96 knots. That's nice. I like being there. We're already at we left our flaps in the whole time. Uh-oh. We just lost our PFD. Okay. So this is interesting. We got it. Oh, came back.
November 152 Whiskey Alpha.
Don't let that distract you.
Transient parking via Sierra.
Go down to 13% power, like 18% power I think is where we like to be. Just keep flying the airplane. If we lose that, we've got standby instruments here, and actually, when you're landing, just look out the window. Would keep the power a little higher because we are a little further away. Don't want to descend quite as quickly. Yeah, our PFD has gone out again. Not sure what that's about, but again, we can just look out the window. All right, going on a final. This time we're a little high, so we'll just take some power out. Right at 90 knots, we can pitch up. There we go. One right, one red on the glide slope. Pardon the pun. Slow her down a little bit. Nose up trim. Airspeed has failed. All right, so we've got an electrics failure going on the G1000. That's all right. We'll fly by feel. We also have backup airspeed right here. We'll keep it flaps 50. Take out the power a little earlier this time. Like that. And then we will cross the threshold, or the runway markings. And then once we're on the other side, we're at Foxtrot Alpha, we will call ground, tell them we are here. That's already on COM 2. San Luis ground, 15 Julie Golf, clear of 29 Foxtrot Alpha, we'll go straight ahead.
Number 15 Juliet Golf, taxi the ramp to Alpha, monitor ground.
Okay, ramp Alpha, stay with you, thanks. 15 Julie Golf. Okay, flaps up. High lever 1000, fuel pump off.
5275 Whiskey, at executive
Flaps are
hangars,
up.
ready to taxi with information November.
Transponder standby, we'll do when we get their lights. Turn them off. Pitot heat, and we'll go. You don't want to mess around too long after they tell you to go before you start to go.
Taxi runway 20 left via
They expect you to
Hotel
follow
Charlie
directions
Kilo,
within a reasonable time.
5275 Whiskey.
So it's interesting to see what's going on with that PFD. One thing about the TorqueSim is it simulates all kinds of wear and failures and stuff, so it could be doing that. I had a full electrical failure in flight once, and at the end of the day, like, you've got eyeballs. You can feel when the airplane's getting close to stall speed, it gets soft. In fact, I had a CFI who would occasionally turn down the G1000s all the way. He would pull one of these. He'd turn them down all the way, or he'd turn them off, and make you fly by feel in the pattern. And I always found I was better flying by feel than I was not, which is interesting. All right, well, the banana did all right. Okay, put on our parking brake. Fuel pump off. Throttle idle. Cycle grounding check. For our mags, make sure to cut off. And then all switches right to left. Well, we'll take this baby to the shop and see what's going on with our flight display. So that's the CAT-3 rating. Let me take a look here. You like the new camera position stand. Thanks. You've seen enough of these. I figured best of both worlds. Like, I like having the ultra-wide view. I think it looks more active. But I know I got feedback. People wanted to see what's going on down on the throttle quadrant and stuff, so you can see really the full cockpit, and yet it's not so far away you can't see what's going on in the displays. Hey Keith, thanks. For those who don't know, comma 13794 here. I would have failed the rating. Well, it's been a while. Yes, when you exit, you don't switch. You got to talk to tower first and tell them you're clear, and then they'll tell you if they want to switch over or stay with them or whatever if you want to do. Yep. Well, it's good to know. I would have failed. So Keith Smith is the founder and head honcho and chief operator of PilotEdge, and I've had a good fortune to have a friendship with Keith for a couple of years, and every once in a while he jumps in here to a stream, and it's a good thing I didn't file for that one because I would have had to fail it. But yes, when you exit the runway, you tell tower once you cross the runway markings that you have exited and that you're clear, and then they will either tell you that they want you to go to ground or just stay with them if they're listening on both frequencies or whatever the case might be. So that's not a small debrief. That's a you would have failed debrief. So while we're on it, let's talk about what the next rating is, because I think I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fly that. So if we look over on PilotEdge, let's see. Pilot. And we enter. Our next rating should be tower to tower, if I'm remembering correctly, although when I flew the CAT ratings, there were only 5 of them. Oh, Class D to Class D. Yeah, we're going to fly from San Luis to Santa Maria. Nice little hop. And got to make sure you get the crossovers right on that one. You don't want to make the same mistake twice. Keith failed the ASI on me. Oh, okay. So you were trying to fail all my systems. Okay. Okay. Well, that's I didn't really realize you had the power to do that. I guess you do. What else did you try to fail? I'd love to know what else you tried to fail. But I thought I handled it pretty well. I mean, you know, you got to be able to fly the airplane with your head, not with your instruments. When you're in the clear, of course. When you're in the clouds, you need to use your instruments and not your head. Maybe, yeah, they've got a lot of, for those who are watching this later, Keith Smith is in the chat, and he was failing a bunch of stuff in my flight. Flap actuator, throttle to max, generator, restricted airflow. Holy crap. PFD, yeah, that one failed a few times. The, well, now I know. The, yeah, and then the speed indicator. The, he was failing things on me. The PilotEdge can fail the systems, which is actually really helpful, and I actually have failures turned off in X-Plane because they're too unpredictable. But I love the idea of being able to have PilotEdge fail specific systems and have to deal with them, which is great for piloting. But yeah, the TorqueSim has a bunch of custom data refs, which is probably why some of those weren't working, Keith. But okay, well, we'll come back in a little while, and we'll fly San Luis to Santa Maria, and we'll do delta to delta and knock that one off. Nothing that would have killed me. The failures don't kill the pilot, Keith. It's the pilot's reaction to the failures that kills the pilot. So, yeah, I would have, well, you know, maybe you'll do it again. We'll find out. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. That was great. Keith, thanks for jumping in. That was a lot of fun. And now I know what was going on. Of course, you know, in a rig like this, I'm going, oh, Christ, I got a loose wire somewhere. I got to get back underneath the, I got to get back underneath the glare shield and find out why this thing's not working. And really, it's just some creative intervention. All right, thanks, everybody. I'll be back in a little bit. I'll start a new stream for it. Thanks for watching on Glide Slope.